All right, hello, welcome chat. I'm not feeling too bad, but I am a little bit under the weather, mostly in my voice. So there might be some problems with my voice today, just like it leaving me or it being low and crackly. My apologies. Hopefully it won't be so bad that you can't listen. But if it is, then no worries. We're gonna play another challenge with my favorite new brew that I put together in Mono Blue Turbo Murktide. If you're looking for a detailed deck tech, make sure you check out the last two videos. So there's a challenge last weekend, and there was a league on Wednesday. What I determined is I might be underboarded versus Dredge still, and I might be over evaluating my Golos matchup. And so what I did is I took out cards like True Name, and I took out Steel Sabotage, and I put in two of the hardest hitting artifact hate that I can in Energy Flux. I have some problems with playing Energy Flux in decks that don't ramp. The nice part about this deck is it has so many basics that there's like a reasonable chance you can make it to Energy Flux mana, especially with this amount of counter spells, six free counter spells to hit spheres. So basically we get two fluxes in our board to help shore up the Golos matchup, and we'll see how that goes from there. I did have a Tabernacle and a Ravenous Trap in my sideboard additionally for Bazaar, but I decided that I was going to leave it with 5 again this time. So pretty much the same sideboard configuration where we have 5 Graveyard Hate, the third and fourth Fluster Storms, the first Hydro Blast, Borrower to bounce Leyline, Entrancing Melody for Bug. It's possible we just don't need Entrancing Melody. I always thought I would need Entrancing Melody to beat Deathray Shaman. That hasn't exactly been the case for me, but historically when I played like blue-green, like Uro decks, I always needed to have Entrancing Melody, like 2 or 3 in my board. Maybe this deck is just so much faster that it doesn't care. That could be true. And so maybe we won't in the future we won't need this Entrancing Melody, and maybe we can just play like an additional Energy Flux or additional Wrap Trap or a Tabernacle or something like that. We're just gonna get right ahead into round 1. And like I said, my apologies for my voice being really off today. Yep, I'm gonna keep that hand. Oh, we also discussed pre-game here that we wanted to try like cutting 2 things from the main, putting in Consider and a third Fluster. My issue with that is you're even more boarding towards blue, non-fair blue, and like unfair combo. And I think you're already like super pre-boarded for unfair combo with like Mindbreak, Trap, Force of Negation, all these kind of things. And so I'd rather have all 4 things in the main for Bug and other creature decks. And then when we play against decks that we don't need thing, we just board them out. Usually like the board out plan is like 4 things for Fluster, Chalice, Null Rod. So it maps pretty well. This hand is okay. I wish it had a Force. This hand might have problems versus a Bazaar deck. But Polk is usually a blue player, somewhere between fair and unfair blue player, depending on the day. Interesting. So maybe a Grixis Breach deck. Let's just take a look at the last list they had. Oh, blue-red tempo. Okay, this is dope. So we're playing against the what I used to call Modern Horizons aggro when I made that a couple months ago now. Very similar deck to us, basically blue-red tempo deck with Dragon Rage Channeler, Ragavan, Murktide, Wastelands, Volcanic Islands. I would suspect that they're pretty favored in this in the mirror, as they get to play Pyroblast to kill my my Murktide regions. But they have a weaker mana base, so if we like end up strip mining, wastelanding their volcanics, there could be some upside. They do play 3 Dazes, so we need to keep that in mind. I think Twister is just bad in general, and I would not be playing Time Twister in my vintage decks. What I think I'm gonna do here is just play a Thing in the Ice, and then work from there. I don't really see a great timing window here to play Ancestral. Can't really play it on my... I mean, I could play... Okay, they're just gonna force Pitching Gush my Thing in the Ice. I feel like that's a great win for me. It does make me think they probably have Fluster. Wait. My opponent's deck list has 0 main deck Fluster Storms. Just 1 negation, 1 misdirection. Huh. So if I cast this Lotus and I Ancestral, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'm 1 short. Maybe I should be playing a Lotus Petal in my deck. I'm gonna just wait. I'm just gonna wait. So my opponent's last seen deck list doesn't have any Fluster Storms in it, but that doesn't mean they're not playing Fluster Storms now. Nice. We definitely played around this Wasteland very well. They do have Hardcast Negation. I'm looking to hopefully draw like a Fluster or Force or something. The problem with going for it is I had no follow-up play. Like if I go for it and I crack my Lotus, I actually cannot get my Murktide region in play. Where here, I think I'm just going to... So I can't play a 3-3 Murktide region. The problem is I can't play a 3-3 Murktide region. Because it just gets Lightning Bolted. And I don't really want to give them Lightning Bolt targets. That would be really silly. They have 4 Lightning Bolts in their deck. I'm also not going to play into open mana here, but I do think I want to upkeep an Ancestral. If they do have the Hardcast Negation, they have to play their whole thing. Okay, this is fine. This also stops them from playing a Murktide of their own this turn. So next turn we can play a Murktide our Cruise. Probably just play a Murktide. So this is really bad because it's just so many. I actually think we might be supposed to Cruise. I probably shouldn't have played that. So if I can beat a Fluster, so I'm gonna leave the Ancestral in my yard. I guess I can't beat a Fluster. I guess I won't leave the Ancestral in my yard. I kind of don't think I was supposed to. I think playing the island to play around on a possible Fluster is good. Daze and Gush. Okay, I mean, those are good cards. Not good Daze, really, but Gush is good. This hopefully will build me back up to Murktide. I haven't taken too much damage, so as long as my opponent doesn't, like, find action, I should be okay. Like, the best cards in their deck for them to draw are Ancestral Gush and, like, a Murktide Regent here. They did keep their last card they just had. So if we find a Thought Scour, we might want to Thought Scour them. It's possible. Wasteland is so good here. And this is what I've been saying about decks that just let Wasteland be good against them. They pitch gust. Yeah, they did pitch gust the Force. I'm just saying like example cards that are good. So Wasteland is 1 card. Gush is 3 cards. I'll be 1 short unless I hit like a Thought Scour or something. Well, no, I'll still be short. I don't really want to Gush and have no follow-up play. I definitely think Wasteland is the correct play here for sure. It's 9 months? Yeah, 9 months vintage will look very different because of Modern Horizons. So I can go blue, 3 cards in yard, 4 cards. I'm 1 short. So unless I hit like something, I want to put a Murktide in play here. I'm also going to overdraw by a lot. I can't afford to Gush here. I don't think gushing makes sense here. So hopefully the card they kept on top was a red spell, like a Bragavan or something. If it was a blue spell, Petty Theft bouncing my Mox. It was a Murktide regent, so I actually kept them off of double blue by my Wasteland. That's so good for me. Okay, I think I'm like super far ahead in this game. I think I'm super far ahead. My opponent's mana base is just so much worse than mine. I would know because I made both of these decks. All right, so now we're definitely gushing and trying to play some Murktides. Nice. So right now, I can just play a Murktide with what I have and have a fetch. Probably worth it. Yeah. I think I like this play. All right, Murktide number 1 is in play. My opponent probably can't counter it. They probably don't have the red mana to play their Pyroblast. I do have a forced backup now. They can't really attack into me. I'm lucky this Dragon Rage Channeler hasn't flipped. I would probably have lost this game if the Dragon Rage Channeler had flipped. That's just kind of how this goes, though. We have just hit 0 cantrips in this games. We have just hit 0 cantrips, which has been really unfortunate. All delve, no cantrips, yeah. I'm just gonna upkeep a Duress down. This way I can't get hit for 3, I can't get Ragavand. It's just a cycle, put a card in the yard kind of thing. Well, can't let that resolve. I mean, I could let that resolve, but I'm not going to let that resolve. Probe. Okay, so how much damage can I realistically take here? I'm gonna save this fetch land for a Mystic Sanctuary unless I need it to play a Delve spell this turn. I could play a Murktide this turn. I'm most likely going to play a Murktide this turn. I think I'm allowed to take the damage off of this probe. Bolt, Dragon Rage Channeler, Ragavan, chat. That is why I am playing Mono Blue and I am not playing Volcanic Island, because Wasteland is so broken. Okay, sweet. That makes me feel pretty good about life. I think what I'm gonna do is Island, crack, and play a Murky Boy. Oh, I guess I did not need to do that. Well, if I can't get dazed, so it doesn't really matter, but oh well. Not the best play. All right, I'm pretty happy about this game. This game basically was entirely decided on a wastelanding Volcanic Island, and I made the correct play, and it worked out. So this is why you got to follow Justin's streams. If you simply follow a deck, you won't know the answers. Okay. So my opponent is going to bring in Flusterstorms. They're going to bring in maybe a Fury. That's it. So it's basically just some Flusterstorms and a Fury. I really do think we have some problems with Pyroblast, but they only have 2 Pyroblasts in their main. Like, Lightning Bolt is pretty bad against us. This is a matchup where I do think we want 4th Thing in the Ice. Because, well, they have a lot of creatures. Hydroblast, Flusterstorm, Borrower. Excuse me. And then Trancing Melody looks good. And then I think Negation looks bad. Don't really like the idea of Negation in this matchup. Um. Hmm. Oh yeah, I guess they wouldn't bring in Fury. Um. So they just have Flusterstorms. That's pretty nice. I don't know. I mean, they have 4 Lightning Bolts in their deck, but um, I'll take a Daze out on the draw, and then I will. I don't know how to board for this because it's not exactly a normal matchup. I have to board 2 more cards out. Dress down is not very good against my opponent. It just helps me flip thing. So I think we're just going to board. Negation is not really good value. You're not really hitting the things you need to hit. The most important things on the other side of the board are creatures, which is why we're boarding in Melody and Borrower. Daze is not as good on the draw. I think it would be still fine to keep in if I had worse cards. And then Dress Down, like it's good with my thing in the ice, but also it's just not very good against my opponent. It's good against Ragavan with haste. But even then, it's just they paid 2 mana for a Ragavan. It's not huge. It's not a huge win. It's possible I could be boarding in the Soul Guide Lantern, but I don't really feel like that's how I want to play this game. It's possible my opponent might board in Surgical Extractions. Whatever. All right, I have a Wasteland, I have a Force. Definitely going to keep this hand. Again, I haven't really found any of my cantrips, but it's fine. It's going to be an Upkeep Ancestral on 7. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to force this. If they have a Daze, they have a Daze. If they have a... I mean, if they have a Daze, it's super bad for me, but I don't think I'm supposed to play around it. Okay, so Force of Will and pitching Fluster, sure. Maybe I am supposed to play around Daze and just let it resolve and then Wasteland them. It's possible. My hand sucks now, so most hands that don't have Ancestral are pretty bad compared to hands that do have Ancestral. But they could have just missed on lands too. They actually play less lands than I do. Mountain's a good one. Mountain is a good one. Mountain is very good here. Oh god, okay. Yeah, I mean, there's just a pretty solid difference in the power level of our hands. That's gonna be a flip Dragon Rage Channeler as well. Sorcery instant artifact land. I guess soon maybe it's not gonna be a flip dragon because they're gonna play a Murktide Regent. Okay, yeah, I mean, I think we're gonna die. I don't really know how we're getting out of this besides our own ancestral. Man, I would have wished I had a misdirection on last turn. Oh, so sad. Yeah, I mean, that's just kind of vintage, right? Like if your opponent has ancestral and you're playing a fair mirror and they have a strip mine, okay. You just die. So if I take 9 here, even if I have a dress down, I still just lose, so. Not really sure I have any outs at this point. Ban? Well, then you're just not playing vintage, so there's like obviously Ancestral Recall is a card that's worthy of being banned, but then you're just not playing vintage, so what's the point? Like it's a format card. Like you want to play vintage so you can play ancestral. That's the whole point. All right, I'm gonna bring back Daze, and I really think I just can probably flip these things in the ices without dress down, maybe. So it's probably fine. I don't know if that's true or not, but we'll see. I mean, I don't really feel similarly. I think Saga has a perfect fit in vintage. It's just the exact right power level. Yeah, this hand has its weaknesses, but I think having a force and a misstep is good enough for me. I am a little concerned about Brainstorm being my cantrip, but I think if my opponent's going to lead on Island Go, I don't want to brainstorm and then have my misstep be dazed. So I think I'm just going to naturally draw here. No, that sounds stupid. Let's just fucking brainstorm. If they brainstorm at end of turn, they just go to 10 cards. Like, who gives a shit? I mean, if they have Ancestral end of turn. Obviously, I can get locked here, but I have so many, like, Thought Scours and Considers where getting locked is not really getting locked. I think I'm just going to bin 2 creatures and then mill over one of them. Well, hope I draw a land. I mean, I could get flustered, I guess, but whatever. Again, like, I think keeping that hand is... Okay, I milled over a Lotus, which is unfortunate, but I did still hit a Sapphire, so... Well, I'm out of cantrips, but I have a Murktide next turn. If I can hit a land so that I can have Fluster back up, I'll be pretty happy. I'm not going to misstep any cantrips. I'm holding misstep specifically for Pyroblast. No, I meant to do that, but I didn't. I would have had a Black Lotus that turn. Yeah, no, I meant to do that. I just didn't. All right, land. Merchant Scroll. I'm just going to play a thing out. Maybe it's better to play a Merchant Scroll. I kind of think my opponent has... Sure, whatever. Don't care. Like, if I miss a land again next turn, we can just, like, cruise with Fluster back up, and it's fine. They should get a mountain here, yeah. I think they have, I will just mental misstep this. I said I was holding it for specifically for Pyroblast, but I think this is pretty good as well. I think they have a Fluster Storm almost assuredly. They're gonna Fluster this? I think this is super fine for me. I don't really think I care that much. Come on, just give me a land, please. Let me play Murktide. That will be fun. I do need to hit a land. I'm gonna just cast this Treasure Cruise. I can't cast this turn, but next turn maybe. That's pretty sweet, actually. So, cards in yard, something to block Ragavan, and then next turn we can just get our own Ragavan. It'll be fun. All right. I mean, I'm in a pretty reasonable spot. I didn't hit some lands. I missed on some lands because I messed up my Thought Scour, but... Time Walk. Sure. Volcanic Pyroblast, I assume. I will force a Pyroblast. Oh, consider. Interesting. I'm a little worried because of how bad our tempo was this game, but... Yeah, alright, second turn. I mean, at some point they're going to play a Murktide here, which I have to force, and hope they don't have a Pyroblast or Fluster backup. Not much I can do about it. It's just how it is, being behind on tempo. Unfortunately, Entrancing Melody and Thing in the Ice are not a combo. But... Alright, well, that's a lot of mana. Hardcast Force. You can just go Murktide with a Hardcast Force. At that point, I probably don't want a Melody. I probably just want to try to flip this thing in the ice. Fury? Hardcast Fury? Oh, Scab Clan Berserker. Huh. Oh boy, it's annoying. I wish I could flip this thing in the ice easier, but I just feel like I can't. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna force it, and gonna help me flip my thing. I feel like they have a follow up, like Murktide or Ancestral, I guess. Sure, yeah, it's a good one. Fuck me. Okay, they have 4 cards in hand, a huge graveyard, found a Pyroblast. Kind of a nightmare. Kind of a nightmare. Hopefully this misses. Thought Scour. I wonder if they'll use their treasure token. That'll tell a lot about what's in their hand. Unfortunately, we just like were 1 land drop behind in this whole game. Really would like to hit a land here. Where's that? Okay, I just can't hold open Flusterstorm back up. I guess I can for the Murky Boy. Just hope it actually works. I feel like that's my only line. Like I have Ancestral, I have Merchant Ancestral, and I have Entrancing Melody Steel Ragavan, but neither of them play into around days, and neither of them let me fluster. So just because I've been missing on lands. Force, yeah. Okay. Now they can daze, obviously, but all right. I have a 6/6. They have 2/3 cards left in their hand. No, I'm talking about Fluster protecting my spell, not Fluster on their turn. I can't like Fluster against a Pyroblast at this point in the game. Sure. Think we're looks like they don't have a follow-ups here, so it's a little late for you, Mindberg Trap. So my opponent could still have a Flusterstorm. Actually, no, they're out of Flusterstorms if their list is the same. I think I'm just gonna Merchant Ancestral. Maybe not. Maybe I'm supposed to Ragavan. Maybe I'm supposed to take Dragon Rage Channeler and hit for 6 in the air to 11. Um. Hmm. Well, they didn't have days, but they could have. I hope this finds a force. Really, I'd like this to find a force. Um. These cards suck. All of them suck. I'm never going to use the dig through time because if I play another delve spell this game, it's going to be another Murktide Regent. And I don't really want dress down because it's just I'm going to be using my mana way too much. So I just think that having days and making them have to like think about always being able to stop days is more important. I assume they attack with this Ragavan and hit me, though they could hit Narset, I guess. I'm definitely going to let the Ragavan hit, and just kill this flyer. Consider, yeah. I mean, they keep hitting all my cantrips. They've cast more of my cantrips than than I have. Not much I can do about it though. They can't draw a card off this Consider, though. All they can do is bin because of Narset. They do get a land, though. I'm definitely going to activate my Narset again. There's my cantrips. Take a Thought Scour. So I have a lot of choices here. How many Ragavans are gone? 1. I think there's like a lot of upsides to like Merchant for Force of Will, Merchant for Ancestral, play Wasteland, take their Ragavan. I think I like play Wasteland, take their Ragavan the most. Sweet. Well, I'm going to attack. I do have another chance of hitting a Force off of the Scour, but I'm surprised I didn't get Hardcast Force there, to be perfectly honest. So if I can like Scour into a Delve spell, I might have lethal next turn. God, you have a flash creature? That would be a nightmare. I mean, I feel good about this. It's tough because they have some cards like Pyroblast that are just so good versus us, but I really like our configuration. Obviously, this Daze is completely useless, but I think... Okay, so they did have their third Ragavan. That's fucking annoying. So they had one Ragavan in the yard, so I figured maybe they didn't have their third Ragavan, but... They're probably just going to kill Narset, I would assume. Or are they going to flip it? I assume they have to be killing Narset here. Because then all my hits are like not very good unless I... Oh, they're hitting me. Alright. Hopefully they don't hit my Murktide region or something. No, they hit a Wasteland. That should be enough to win this game for me. They have 2 cards in hand. They can't draw. They're almost dead. Blue. I have Narset. Yeah, they have a cantrip in their hand. I'm surprised they didn't hit Narset. Because honestly, I think they should hit Narset and cantrip and try to find a Pyroblast from Murktide region. I think hitting me here is just hella greedy and probably not a very strong play. This is a Treasure Cruise? I have a Narset. Oh, Brazen Borrower. That's a really good draw, actually. Yeah. Yeah. They don't want to play it, though, because they can get dazed. All right, so their hand is Unknown Ragavan, and they have a Borrower in exile. All right, so first things first, I should attack with this Ragavan and see what I hit. I hit a Preordain. I think I'm going to cast this Preordain, even though it means I lose out on like a hard cast days or something, but oh yeah, hell yeah. All right, well now I have a Murktide, a lethal Murktide, Narset in play, Daze, Force, Fluster, Mindbreak Trap. All right, I think we're in a good spot. I agree, Jig. The reason is because this Murktide is going to win us the game, and Force of will protect us from all the answers to Murktide, so. I think my opponent's deck is a little greedy to only have 2 Pyroblast in their 75, but yeah, that's fine. It's not going to change my Murktide killing them. They can flash in a Brazen Borrower, but I have Force, so. I probably should have left something. I probably should have left something in my yard to Mystic Sanctuary back. I just kind of forgot. It's weird because I didn't play Delta. I didn't play Delta because I knew I wanted a Mystic Sanctuary. I should have left this Merchant Scroll in my yard, or maybe this Entrancing Melody in my yard, instead of this Flusterstorm. So, like, I knew I wanted to make an 8/8 Murktide, and I knew I wanted a Mystic Sanctuary something. But I just forgot, I guess. I'm just gonna play an island so I have maximum hard cast mana and just cast all my shit. If they want to trade monkeys, it's also fine. Force Pitch Days. I have hardcast Mindbreak Trap, hardcast Flusterstorm backup. Negation pitching Force of Will, and then done. Very nice. It was a great round 1. And they take Xaxes from the Murky Boy. Very nice. This deck is sweet. Deck is sweet. It was interesting to play kind of a pseudo mirror. I think besides forgetting to Thought Scour in my upkeep, we played that game pretty well. Not bad. Okay, chat. Here we are, round 2. Vintage Challenge versus Piccolo. And I have a nice one. I got lands, spells, forces, brainstorms, Thought Scours, you name it. It's a beautiful hand. This is a great hand. Very happy with this hand. Just turn 1, end of turn Thought Scour. Oh my god, never mind. Alright, well, I thought it was a great hand. Now I need to find a wasteland for it to be a great hand. So I'm going to end of turn Brainstorm and then try to find a wasteland. Okay, it's Squee. So if I do find a wasteland, I think I'll be in good shape. I think I'm going to force this. Just to buy me enough time. Ah, T loads are for the state. So I got forced pitching Mindbreak Trap. Huh. They have 1 Squee in their yard. Alright, before we make this decision, let's brainstorm. Yeah, Wasteland's broken. Mindbreak Trap. This is their 2nd spell. Alright, well, it's kind of shit to keep Mindbreak Trap if they don't have another force or another hollow one. But it's really good if I do. I think I'm just going to put back Thought Scour Narset. No. I'm just going to put back Delta Narset. Well, Narset actually works as well. Maybe I'm just supposed to put back Delta Narset and then not Thought Scour and draw into Narset. Oh, no, I can't do that. Maybe I'm supposed to put back Thought Scour Thoughts. Now I have nothing to pitch. I put back Thought Scour Delta and I draw Delta and then I crack Delta. Yeah, that's my best play, I guess. I think I should be able to get to Narset. No, I think I would rather force this hollow one, and then if they have a follow-up force or a follow-up hollow one, I get to use Mindbreak Trap, and then because they have nothing in play, eventually I can get a Narset down, which should help. I think that's how I'm gonna do about. That's how I'm gonna go about this. Obviously, my Mindbreak Trap gets stranded if they have nothing, but I think that's okay. Like, this is a really high-risk play. Look at that. Oh, my lord, you love to see it. But I think it's the right one. Alright, so now I draw a land. So I do have to draw a land on my next turn, and then I have to hit no creatures. But, you know, high risk, high reward, right? Yeah, so basically they get one squee back and they go up to 4 cards in hand, and then they go down to 3. Yeah, it's still really bad for me, but if they have no creatures this turn and I hit a land drop and play Narset, maybe we have a chance. I still think this matchup's got to be really bad if you don't draw a Wasteland, but it's probably playable if we do draw a Wasteland, though we don't have any Tabernacles in our board, which is going to be problematic. All right, they still hit a Root Walla, so it's pretty bad for me. I kind of just need to hit a Wasteland too. They did pitch 2 Noxious Revivals, so they would have had Wasteland covered pretty hard, but we had a lot of counters. A little hard to say. So I'm just looking for a Wasteland or a non-sanctuary blue land here. Should buy me some time. All right, well, I am going to activate this Narset once at the very least, just to get me some action like an Ancestral misstep. All right, I did lose both Wastelands. Okay, that's pretty bad for me. I definitely needed both those Wastelands. That is the downside of Narset. But... all right, so now they don't have an activation. They do get to hit this Narset. As long as they don't hit a Gaia's Cradle, though, I get a couple turns of reprieve. If I find any of my creatures, I start blocking. It's not a bad spot to be in. Just looking for like an Ancestral, really, right? Or that. That's a good one as well. So now I have this Bazaar is dead, and I have a counter for a 3rd or 4th Noxious Revival. Pretty happy with that. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm supposed to... I wonder if I'm supposed to activate this Narset. Maybe I am just supposed to activate this Narset now. Yeah, I'm going to activate this Narset. What is this? They know I have a misstep, though. Oh, they just have Force plus 3rd Noxious Revival. Well, I mean, I think that's a little absurd to play around, so... like, when we know their hand has 1 squee in it, the remaining 3 cards are blue card, Force of Will, Noxious Revival? I hate Hollowvine so much. Alright, if I draw Thought Scour... Wait. If I hit Thought Scour, it's fucking lit. Thought Scour, 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 Thought Scour. Oh, my lord. Justin can't win, can he? Yeah, I mean, those were really bad misses. All right, well, the beat goes on. Just gonna end step this in case I draw a thing. I think I whiffed it so hard on these Narsets. Like, misstep was fine, but just like missing there on anything was so sad. This game, I feel like, has been an extreme low roll for me, but I think it's still winnable. Look at that. Look at that fucking play, chat. Look at that fucking play. Oh, man. I don't know. I think I'm playing pretty well today. Unfortunately, I really need to shuffle my library with 3 wastelands on the bottom. All right, they're still on 1 squee, 1 card in hand. They have attacks for 1 here. If we draw a Murktide, it's a little awkward because we have to flip this thing first. But if we can draw, like, Consider into Murktide, it's so good for us. They have a really hard time killing a 7/8. They're going to mental misstep my Consider. That doesn't do anything, though. I think I'm still going to fluster it because I don't think there's any use for this Fluster Storm this game. I think I would rather have... I think I would rather have the ability to look at a card and bottom a bad card. Time Walk. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll keep a Time Walk, sure. It's gonna help me get through these Ruwalas. They don't leave enough blockers back. I mean, it's impossible for them not to leave enough blockers back because they'll have 2 Ruwalas that can't attack. Even if they hit a hollow one, they can't really block. They need to kind of hit like a Gaia's Cradle, I would assume. All right, let's get both of these Ruwalas off the field. All right, well, I feel decent about where we're at in life here. What a crazy game of Magic, to be honest. This has been a really good stream in terms of like back and forth games of Magic. And we're only round 2, game 1. All right, so unfortunately they did hit a Rootwalla, and they found a Vengevine. So if they hit a hollow one as well, they bring back Vengevine. Okay. Uh-oh. I'm going to force this hollow one. I'm going to go to 9. And they're going to chump. All right, it's getting a little dicey. I really just want to draw a Murktide Regent. I have 4 in my deck, and I haven't bottomed any. I feel like a Murktide Regent would be pretty good. Are they going to Noxious Revival one of my lands or something here? Oh, no. That's pretty good, though. That's the last Wasteland in my deck, because I haven't shuffled. That's hilarious. I mean, they could have their 4th Noxious Revival, because it seemed like they were tanking on the upkeep. I mean, they still have another chump with this Vengevine, and we could always die on the swing back or something, but... I don't know. I would probably be playing 4 Noxious Revival, but... I don't know if it's right. Their deck like just is really bad against Wasteland, so playing 4 Noxious Revival makes a lot of sense to me. So I assume this just holds back to chump. Again, all I really want is a Murktide Regent. Still 4 in our deck. There's a Murktide Regent. All right. just actually willing cards to the top. Though, to be fair, I do think like we had a pretty high chance of drawing a Murktide Regent because we had 4 in our deck that weren't on the bottom. But force, consider, fluster, misstep, trap. That mind break trap play won us the game by a huge margin. Like, if you played this game any differently than I played it, I think you would lose. But I think I played perfectly. I'm really happy with how we're playing today. This deck is so fun. Reminds me of when I used to play Blue-White Stoneforge in Legacy. All right. I think we want Rav Trap, Soul Guide, Needle, Cage, Extraction, Flusterstorm. And we're gonna cut Mindbreak Trap negations. I used to cut Misstep, but with this much Noxus Revival, we're not gonna do that. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I could have let Narset sit. I didn't really feel that they had the exact correct cards, but I was wrong. Though I could have hit a huge number of cards that would have made their play bad, like any Thought Scours, any like power cards, Delve, Ancestral. So I think Daze is quite good in this matchup. I actually don't like cutting Daze, but maybe on the draw. Like I think Gush is pretty bad. I don't think you need Cruise. We might need to actually bring in Borrower in case we play against Leyline. That's a non-unreasonable thing to play against here. Actually, it's weird because like you want a bunch of Murktide Regents because they're so good, but also if they do like bring in stuff, it's pretty bad. Maybe we'll just take Daze on the draw. Yeah, I think in general the minus was fine there. It was just like the worst possible outcome because of the minus, right? Like they had exactly third Noxious Revival Force blue card, which maybe maybe I'm supposed to play that around that, but maybe we just won't bring in Misdirection. And maybe we'll just be 3 Flusterstorms or something. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't actually played any matches versus this deck yet. But I definitely want the 5 Greases of Graveyard Hate. And I like another Fluster. And I think I'm priced into Borrower because of a possible Leyline in the Void. Like, people haven't started bringing in Graveyard Hate versus me. But I would venture to say it's probably correct. So, all right, this hand's fine. I've got a Wasteland. I've got a Thing. I'm not unhappy with where we have this hand. Obviously, the Sanctuary is bad, but I'm basically going to keep any hand against this deck that has a Wasteland and can play spells. I think Wasteland is the most important card in this matchup. My opponent mulled a 4, which makes Wasteland really good as well. I have to see how many hollow ones they have. If it's 2 hollow ones, this game might be very challenging. But if it's 1 hollow one, it should be winnable. Squee, Vengevine, 1 hollow one. Okay. I'm definitely still Wastelanding this Bazaar. Hopefully they don't have a Revival as their 4th card. They don't. All right, so now it's just time to deploy Thing and see if we can flip her. And it looks reasonable. I think I have to hold both of these cantrips. Yeah, so now I can go Thing. I'm at 12, and then I'm at 8. And then on my next turn after that, I can go Time Walk, cantrip, cantrip, cantrip. Oh, they drew a Bazaar. Well, sometimes players are too strong. Yeah, they hit. 2 squeeze. Okay, well, it looks like this is probably going to be a loss on a Moldafor because my opponent hit 2nd Bazaar. Well, it is what it is. Watch them force me here. Be pretty brutal. I really think we need another island so I can Time Walk with Fluster back up. Oh god, what if they just like Vengevine me here? Go to 3. It's really bad. All of these things are really, really bad for me. Opponent hitting a second Bazaar was just absurdly good. Obviously, I haven't hit any Graveyard Hate, so that doesn't really help, but the Graveyard Hate wouldn't have even been that great, seeing as my opponent... Okay, so they kept a Master of Death, which means that they have a Force, which means I need to hit an island so that I can Fluster. I didn't hit an island. They're gonna force this Brainstorm. They're gonna misstep my Brainstorm. Okay. I guess I'm just gonna lose to a Vengevine at this point. Don't really have a say in that. Hope they force or something this, because I really just can't play Magic. Okay, they did force it. So this makes it a lot less likely that my opponent will get a Vengevine in play this turn. But that's a really good thing for me. Unfortunately, this Mystic Sanctuary gets wastelanded, but I think we have to play it. It's possible I'm supposed to hold the Mystic Sanctuary for some crazy like time walk line, but they're actually not even in danger of dying, so... Okay, so they're not even going to attempt to bring back Vengevine. Unfortunately, bouncing this is not super good against Vengevine. Okay, that's a pretty good one. So the problem with Soul Guide Lantern... I guess there's no problem with Soul Guide Lantern. I'm just going to Time Walk with Fluster back up, and then we'll Soul Guide Lantern. Alright, I'm not going to play Soul Guide this turn, though. Wasteland, yeah. I guess I could have gotten pretty ranched by a like a Sickening Shoal or something, but... So they're going to go to 2. And I'm going to play 2 pieces of Graveyard Hate with Fluster backup. Maybe this is actually winnable. Wow. Our deck is so good. What the fuck? Our deck is unreal. Why is our deck so good? I think we just straight win this. I'm going to play these before the Wasteland. Wait, our deck is so good. So they just forced a Soul Guide Lantern, but I don't give a fuck. They're dead. They're just dead. I guess I could have died there to Rootwalla, Gaia's Cradle. But I mean, I don't have counterplay for that either, so... Wow, our deck is amazing. Our deck is so good. I've never beaten a Hollow one in my life. I love it. I love our deck. It's so much fun. Okay, here we go. Round 3, Vintage Challenge up against Slasher. Slasher's actually streaming today, so if you want to see both sides of the battle, you can check out Slasher's stream. I ask that if you are watching both sides, that you don't say anything in our chats. Slasher has been playing a lot of 8cast recently, which is the blue affinity Thought Monitor Thoughtcast deck with Seat of the Cyanod, but also, you know, can play Golos, could play combo shops, so there's a little bit of range. Hand's a little weird, but I think it's fine. How did I pick my fetchable ratio? I looked at other Murktide decks in other formats and tried to pick one that had a lot of fetches and but still had a good number. Like, it's weird because in Vintage you do want a high number of basics. Like, theoretically our deck should play more fetches because we want cards in our graveyard, but we also want to have a high number of basics to fetch with our, like, off of Ghost Quarter and Assassin's Trophy. So this is a weird hand to be keeping, but it's usually pretty good against all the deck Slasher plays. Having a negation that we can hard cast, having a dress down for Saga tokens, having Wastelands for Saga, for Seat and for Saga. It's a little bit of an underpowered hand, but I think it's fine. Obviously, if my opponent just goes like Tinker with Flusterstorm back up, it's not good for me, but... a little hard for them to jam things like Tinker into my deck because he knows how much counter spells I'm playing, so... Okay, so this is 8 cast. Alright, I mean, they have the all mana hand. This is the kind of hand where having Null Rod in game 2 and Chalice in game 2 is really strong against, but in game 1 it's going to be really hard for us unless they have like no action or like one piece of action. Oh my god. Slasher is the most whitelisted player I have ever met on Magic Online, so this kind of makes sense to me. It wouldn't have actually played around Fluster. I wouldn't have had enough mana because of how many Moxen they played, so I would have just hardcast it. I mean, they literally have turn 1 Tinker with hardcast Force of Will backup. Not even hardcast Force of Will backup, hardcast Force of Will and hardcast Negation backup. So there's really, I mean, it's Slasher. Like, you can't be more whitelisted than Slasher. So Tinker's not super good in Slasher's deck because there's no Bolus's Citadel. So they might just be getting a Thought Monitor here, but... Or I don't think a Sphinx is super good against us. We can bounce it with a True Name. Oh, they put a Citadel back in their deck. Okay, well, that's bad for me. I'm going to lose then. Yeah, I mean, my opponent had turn 1 Tinker with Force of Will backup. Like, I'm just going to always lose that, so... that's just Vintage. And, of course, you know, the Slasher listed. So this is a pretty good matchup for Chalice, Energy Flux, Null Rod. I don't know about Flusterstorm. I haven't really come down on that one yet. It's kind of weird because, like, obviously you want Flusterstorms for... you obviously want Flusterstorm for Tinker, but you don't really want it for some of the other cards in the deck, like Thought Monitor, which makes it pretty hard to choose which pieces of counter magic you actually want to play against. I'm a little unhappy that Slasher put Bolus's Citadel back in their deck, but it is what it is. I think I am just going to go Misdirection out. I don't think I'm going to bring in more Flusterstorms. I think Daze is pretty bad. I think we probably don't need all of our Delve in this matchup. And maybe actually I want to just cut 2 Thing in the Ice, actually. Yeah, 2 Thing in the Ice. Bouncing Thought Monitor and Urza is just not very good. Maybe I want to keep... I don't really want to keep Daze, to be honest. And I think Misdirection is, like, fine, but not great. It's possible we might want to Dismember. Actually, probably do want to Dismember. It's so good against Emery. Maybe we want to Dismember. Maybe we just, like, don't want things and we just want Flusterstorm Dismember. Kind of an interesting play. I've talked about it a bunch, but basically, I want Consider because it's like the difference between Preordain and Ponder. One is like Preordain is better at finding you the card you want, so Consider is better at finding you a land. If we do end up needing more cards to go in our graveyard, obviously Mental Note would be a better choice. All right, this hand has some stuff in it. I like it. They fulfill different roles. The nice part about Consider is it's farther from Preordain and closer to Thought Scour, where you can actually get 2 cards in your yard, and it's at instant speed. I really like it. It's been pretty good. All right, my opponent did not play 10 mana. Oh, well, scratch that. Let's say my opponent did not play 10 mana on turn 1, but seems that is not the case. It's just an Urza. Oh, I have a force. I mean, Black Lotus, powerful magic card. All right, Flusterstorm targeting the first one, second, third, fourth, fifth, and then same targets, and then F6. All right, so we stopped their turn 1 Urza, and we have a follow-up Regent coming soon. Oh, we also have turn 2 Null Rod. That's pretty good too. I play a lot of Modo. No worries, chat. Soul Guide Lantern. Safe. All right, so fetch land. I'm just gonna go get Ancestral. I don't think I'll play Ancestral into a possible Flusterstorm, though. All right, well, now there's no possible Flusterstorm, so just gonna play Ancestral. I see. It's pretty good. I think I'll just play a Murktide then. Six, 4 hits. I'm definitely happy my Murktide didn't get disputed. So this is the problem with the 8 cast deck, is it's incredibly weak to Null Rod and Collector Roof. They're lucky they have a basic island and not like a Seat of the Cyanod, which would be also turned off by Null Rod. I don't know if I should show him Flux. Oh, they drew Ancestral off the top, which is quite good. But they have to hit basic islands, which they did. All right. I mean, now they might have. Now I'm definitely going to Flux them. Though they might end up with a Force of Will at this point. I think that's still fine. All right. Well, it got forced. I could have waited, but didn't really like that very much. I do win on this next turn if I draw a fetch land, which will let me do Mystic Sanctuary. Consider. Baseland. Let's go. All right, well. I was looking to try to find a fetch land so I could Mystic Sanctuary and pump my Murktide by 1. Now, obviously, they could like tinker for a Sphinx, but I don't know. Maybe that was bad. Maybe I should have considered, but not thought scoured. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if they. Yeah, maybe they. Yeah, this was probably bad. I was probably supposed to just hold my blue card for force. That was pretty bad play. That was a pretty bad play. I think I should have just held my blue card so I couldn't get tinkered or thought monitored here. Like if they hit thought monitor, I'm actually in not great shape. I got a little greedy, but the thing is, like, hitting a fetch land is such a high likelihood. I have like 6 more fetch land. Maybe not. That was bad. I played that pretty poorly. I just wanted the game to end, and I played badly, I think. So yeah, that was not good. That was not a good play by me. Oh well. Moving past it. Just play better for the next game. Pretty lucky that we drew Null Rod in that game, or I think we would have lost pretty poorly, pretty badly, pretty poorly, pretty something. I think this matchup is probably not very good, is my assumption. Man, just keeps drawing all the basic islands, huh? Like, if this is Seed of the Cyanide, it's so much better for me. Wow, I got my mental misstep forced. That's exciting. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Maybe we can just draw Null Rod. I wonder if that means we're getting tinkered. I don't know. I mean, it's pretty good value to force a, or to get my misstep forced, so. It's unfortunate they keep drawing island. I don't know how many island slasher plays in their build now, and there are no fetches. So it's usually just like 3 or 4 islands, 4 seat, Academy, 4 saga. So this is 3. I think I am supposed to fluster this, even though they can pay so that they're tapped out and I can cruise and walk. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Next turn I can fetch, cruise, and walk, and then wasteland. Yeah, still gonna do it. I don't know, because they could draw into like negations or something. It's kind of weird. Do have Mystic, but I need to find like an Ancestral because I got rid of my Gush. Interesting. All right, I'm just gonna get rid of this seat. I don't think I'm ahead in this game anymore. They might just be keeping their baubles for a Thought Monitor, which we actually have an answer for, which is pretty nice. It's pretty likely they have a Thought Monitor here. All right, so they just played a 2/2 flyer, a nice Windrake. I love Dress Down, man. Dress Down is just the nuts at all times. It's beautiful. All right, so they're gonna know my top card here. They know about Wasteland, which doesn't matter. So I can fetch. This is really awkward because if I fetch, then I don't have Mystic Sanctuary. But if I don't fetch, then I can only Regent getting rid of all of my spells. I guess I could theoretically just hold open hardcast Trap. Maybe that's better. I don't think it matters that I take 2 here. Because maybe I'm supposed to like Mystic back Treasure Cruise and not go for a Regent. All right, they're drawing into something here. Soul Guide Lantern. I don't really want that. Wow, what a fucking nightmare. Okay, yeah, you got me. I mean, I'm still pretty close to another Regent here. And like they have to activate this right now, which they did. I'm still not super worried about this. I could always hardcast a force on this top next turn as well. Yeah, I mean, drawing a lot of lands here has been really bad for me. But it's fine. I'm definitely going to just force this top. I think I'm going to hardcast this Regent next turn off of 6 cards. It's a really bad spot to be in. The Soul Guide Lantern was an incredibly good draw. God, I got flustered again? Okay. I just need to draw Ancestral Recall. Rest down. So if I fetch, then I need to tap 5, and I can't play Dress Down. I want to hold open Dress Down for another fucking Thought Monitor. Okay, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna hold open. No, Slasher didn't snipe me. He just made a right play. He's streaming right now. It's a little hard to snipe us while you're streaming. Stop it, chat. Be nice. They didn't have a follow-up. All right, well, I'm gonna just hold it then. All right, well, I don't have very many fetchables left. I've drawn quite a few lands in this game. But I have a 4/4 Murktide, so I can at least block and not die. Unless it gets forced, I guess. Oh, fucking hell, again? How do you keep that? Did they spin into that? Really bad for me. I've drawn extremely poorly in this game, though. Like, if I draw Ancestral into Sanctuary Ancestral, I could just 100% win. But I just have drawn... Like, my opponent has drawn no other lands, and I've drawn only lands, so... Hopefully they draw another Thought Monitor, and I can just Dress Down it. That would be ideal. I think I have to cycle this Dress Down anyways, no matter what. Okay. Fucking got him again. Only Windrakes. Oh my god, I've just drawn only mana. Only mana. Can I please draw an Ancestral Recall? Holy shit. It's like an Ancestral Recall. Oh, come on! I'm gonna die to these fucking Thought Monitors. Wow, I've drawn so badly. Ooh, the old timeout play. See ya in 10 there, June. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I drew terribly in this game, so. Unfortunately, these Windrakes are just going to be good enough when I drew too many mana sources. Like, I don't even have, I have one fetchable left in my deck. But, yeah, I think like most games here I would probably win, but unfortunately this one I don't think we're going to unless we draw. Yeah, I mean, I have to draw something good here. Watch them hit time. Oh, they pitched Time Walk. I have to draw a spell that draws me multiple cards here. I need to draw like Ancestral probably. Because I can't draw Gush and I can't draw Cruise. So I can draw Dig, Ancestral, and I need to find 2 blockers, which is really hard to do as well. So I have to find 2 Regents. Yeah, I don't think I can win this game. I don't think I want to, because if I don't fetch and I just find a Regent this turn, I don't die. But if I fetch, I do die. So I don't think I'm allowed to fetch here. Yeah, my opponent just drew all action and no lands, and I drew all lands and no action, which is just magic. Not much to worry about there. It's possible I was supposed to play this trap turn differently, but I basically just like had all of my spells get hit by Fluster and Dispute at the end, so. Yeah, I mean, I cut all my, I mean, I have to draw one of my 3 Regents left, right, to block. I could just draw Ancestral. That's the best draw by a large amount. Nope. I just drew so badly. No, that's nothing I can do about it. That would have been interesting with Black Lotus. I mean, my draws are just not good. If I drew like Energy Flux earlier in this game, probably would have just gotten disputed. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't think this matchup is good. I do think this matchup is probably bad. But I also think that, like, if you put me in the position after, like, turn 4, 9 out of 10 times, I'm pretty sure we would win. Or if you put me in the position 10 times after turn 4, I think we would win, like, 8 or 9 games. This is just the one that we happen to lose. Those dress downs were really good. Just unfortunately, I didn't draw anything to follow up. Like, they drew a card every time, but the card they drew was always the land. Okay, here we are. Vintage Challenge round 4 versus Oxy with the Moxie. Typically, used to be a mono white player, but has played some Jeskai recently. Yeah, I think this is fine. It's not the best hand. It's not the worst hand. It's good against Jeskai. It's probably bad against mono white, but it does have a thing in the ice. Alright, well, my opponent didn't reveal Aluris, so it's unlikely they're on mono white. And I like this hand versus Jeskai with Flusterstorm on turn 1 and double Wasteland. Could always just play a thing in the ice as well on turn 2. Probably will. And then we have a long-term game plan off of Second Island with Gush, so I like it. Okay. I'm just gonna play Thing in the Ice. It's a little aggressive, but I think deploying it now is my best opportunity. They're gonna like resolve an ancestral. Oh, that's fine. Don't give a shit. If they force this, I could not care less. They daze it's pretty good though. Alright. So I have an 04, the best wall of all time. Not really, but it is a wall. And then next turn they have to hold open a fetch land or they get wastelanded. Right? Unless they have 2 islands, I guess. No, I didn't think they would have 2 islands. It's gonna be a Lavinia. Oh, it's a sword. That's fine. Don't care. If they're swording my thing and not my Murktide region, I'm just a happy guy. So. Alright, I'd like to draw another fetch land here. That would be ideal. Jeez. Yeah, that's a good one. I guess it's better that I guess it's worse than them drawing like a something else. Time walk. They're on days. If they fluster, they're gonna fluster this. If people like value time walk extremely highly, and I don't really understand why. Okay, this time it's not. Okay, sweet. Again, just looking for a fetch. Didn't find a fetch. They could gush here, I guess, but whatever. Sure. Like it's worse for me to wait because then they could like float mana and play dig through time or something. So, though me not drawing another island for my own gush has been pretty bad. Wow, they're just gonna play a Lavinia for sure. I think I'm just gonna pitching force to leave open Flusterstorm, Gush, and Regent. I just got resolves. Okay. Maybe I was supposed to wasteland first. Hot scour. Kind of need to hit lands, don't I? This is where I'd rather have. Oh, I hit lands, so. All right, well, get him off this tundra. Still holds open fluster. I have gush into regent, as well as hold open fluster for my gush into regent. I am in a good spot, but they have 8 cards in hand, so maybe I'm not in a good spot. Guess I could theoretically not be in a good spot here. My opponent has definitely gone off with their Xerox engine. I have to force Lavinia. I don't really have a choice. This does seem like the worst possible matchup, though. Lavinia, Pyroblast, Swords to Plowshares. Looks pretty abysmal. Alright, well, I don't really have many choices here. I'm just gonna go blue gush. And then play an island and cast a Murktide. Go far away from Mystic. It's probably fine to just make a big Murktide. Okay. Alright, well it resolved. It's a pretty fast clock. With a fetch, it's not enough. Unfortunately, if they just fetch and cast Swords or Pyro here, I don't have another blue land to go Scour Fluster. Yep. I mean, that's what it is. It is what it is. This is a treasure cruise? Wow. This matchup is really, really bad. You're gonna have Fluster back up too? I mean, I assume they have Fluster back up because they almost flustered my time walk, right? Like, what am I supposed to do here? My opponent is just doing my thing but better and has... I don't know. What's a guy to do, really? Matchup is so bad. Ancestral. Excuse me. My opponent has drawn so many Magic the Gathering cards. They're going to cast Ancestral now? You're going to go up to 11 cards in hand. No, it doesn't really help you enough. Like, we just board in some Flusters. And should be, like, more reasonable. Top. Okay, they did an Ancestral. That makes sense. They're just going to hit me with a Swords or a Pyroblast here. Yeah, I mean, oh, that's just a Ragavan. Okay. I really don't understand how I can play Magic the Gathering here. I guess I can just hold open Hardcast Negation. I mean, I'm supposed to attack, right? I can't really win if I don't attack. It's possible I shouldn't have ate so many on my first region. I should have maybe left a couple in the back for this second region. That's probably true. Probably should have done that. I assume this gets flustered or hardcast negation or forced or something. Hardcast negation. All right, so we traded hardcast negations and you resolved an ancestral. Now they can actually top an ancestral with a fetch land, but I actually have Thought Scour to beat that, which is nice. Or I could play a strip mine, which also beats that. Unless they do it now and then use the Ragavan to play it. I mean, they have so many cards in their hand, though. Really not much I can really do. Hopefully this doesn't hit anything good. Hit a thing in the ice. That's really fucking annoying. Because they can probably flip that pretty easily. Return all non-horror creatures to their... Well, actually, if they flip this... Oh, it doesn't return itself. God damn it. Why does nothing work out for me? Alright, they didn't have a fetch land. So they're just going to play Thing in the Ice then? Oh, they have a Swords. No. Oh, no, they're just playing Thing. Okay, sure. I kind of need to draw... I don't even have Time Walk in my deck. I don't know. Looks bad. Looks bad for me. New plan. Past treasure cruise, I guess. It's gonna help them flip their thing. I mean, I have time walk. It's just already gone. I guess I do get to make my regent into. Wow, I hit a spell, so this is actually a 2-turn clock now. I think I'm supposed to not strip mine and just go cruise. Oh, what the fuck? I have to tap out for this? Alright, well, whatever. I don't really have other plays. No, I don't think that's a good play. Yeah, the problem is this gets forced and it helps flip this thing in the ice. The good news is if they don't find an answer to this Murktide or they don't play 3 things and flip the thing in the ice, is that they are dead on board. But I feel like it's pretty unlikely, especially with fetch land for Sanctuary still available. But I don't know. Like I said, we've been behind this game for a very long time. The fact that, okay, that they just have Sanctuary for Ancestral. Oh, Sanctuary for Swords. Sure, that's good too. If they, unfortunately, I can't trap the swords unless they play another spell first. Narset. All right. Wait. They need to find a white source. Oh, the Ragavan is their white source. Fuck. Maybe they'll play another spell before they play swords, and then we'll have a chance. Doesn't look like they will. It's pretty unlucky. Dress down. They're just immediately casting swords. Yeah. What am I gonna do? I don't really feel like I had a chance in this game. My opponent just cast too many ancestral recalls. It's a weird time to rest down. I wanted to be able to. Like, they actually kind of played around strip mine too. Then, kind of awkward. All right, we got. My opponent played pretty well that game. You just bring in Flusterstorms and Hydroblasts. I like Entrancing Melody, Dismember, Borrower. And then I like taking out. I don't think we're allowed to take out Thing in the Ice. What do we take out? I think we just have to take out like counterspell, like 2-for-1s. Maybe that's not the right idea because they have must counter spells, but at least this lets us play through a Lavinia better. I'm not sure this is the right logic to play this matchup, but I feel like forcing things is super bad. Okay. This is definitely a reason to... look at that. They brought in Leyline. And we did bring in Borrower. Wow, that's a pretty shitty hand, though. Oh, maybe I'm not supposed to play a fetch land. There's our Borrower. Well, now they know about it. They also brought in Basic Mountain. I think my opponent sideboarded really well against me. It's a little rough if they pick up a counterspell for Petty Theft, because it's kind of hard for them to go Merchant for Ancestral knowing we have a misdirection. But maybe they just will anyways. I mean, they have one unknown, 3 lands, and whatever they get off of this Merchant Scroll, they got Force. So they drew a blue card and they want to stop my Petty Theft. It's kind of interesting. It's cute. I mean, this is the exact reason I have Petty Theft in my sideboard, so... Okay, so that they decided they're going to try to protect something in their hand instead. Fine. We'll probably just play the rest of this game at instant speed. They just play a Delta? They literally just played the one card I didn't know was in their hand. Alright, I take it back. They're not playing good. This is a really bad mistake. It's extremely bad mistake. I know their entire hand. 3 lands, Force, Leyline, plus whatever they draw off of Ponder. If they had played a Scalding Tart instead, I could be under the impression they had like Ancestral plus Force plus blue card or something. Gotta be wary of what your opponent knows. I'm just gonna play the rest of this game at instant speed. I can flash in a Borrower, which I think is actually pretty strong here. Or I can consider Dress Down, all those kind of things. So their hand is Leyline and 2 unknowns. God, that's the fucking worst thing that could happen to me. Oh, no, it's not. I have a Dismember. If I didn't have a Dismember, this would be very bad for me. but I have a Dismember, so I'm gonna not do it on my turn. I'm gonna do it on, or not do it on their turn, do it on my turn so I can play around a Flusterstorm top deck. They have one unknown card. I think I just want to get this Brazen Bar into play right now. They know about my Dismember, so it's a little interesting. I can actually rebuy my Borrower later with this thing in the ice if I want to. Pretty fast clock. Should hold everything up. I did board out a bunch of forces, which is worth noting. So now they have Leyline and 2 unknowns. Looks like I didn't even need to bounce the Leyline in this game. Obviously, it's still going to be good, though. It's a DAC. DAC would be good here. I boarded all my forces out. I don't know I boarded all my forces out, but I did board all my forces out. I think I'm just going to consider instead of like dress down thing in the icing. I don't think I need another Murktide region. Sanctuary is interesting. Can get my Dismember back or something. So many thing in the ices. So a problem right now is my Regent would eat the whole graveyard unless... I guess I can just do 3. 3. Murktide. And then Sanctuary. Dismember back into my hand. And then we have Gush stuff. Looks reasonable. My opponent still has Tarn, Force, Leyline, 3 unknowns, and they know about our misdirection. They actually are almost dead this turn. Alright, they found a Swords then. Pretty sure I just let that resolve. What is this? Prismatic Ending for 3. Exile target non-land permanent if it's... So I could misdirect this onto Murktide region. And they have to counter it. And they have 2 unknowns. If I misdirect this, Murktide is a legal target, but will not get exiled. I mean, they probably have a counterspell. I mean, they have Force, right? But I mean, it's pretty good. That's good value. Oh, I can even put it on this Ruby and exile the Ruby. I don't know why they tap 4 mana. They could have done it off of not the Ruby and done it for 3 mana. Maybe they were just trying to get Misdirect out of my hand so they could play like Ancestral with Force backup. Though they can't play a Force of Will because... Well, they could have played Force of Will. But if they play Force of Will now, they are facing lethal, so... think I can theoretically draw into a sequence here that lets me play another regent. Maybe not. What am I strip mining? The white source, probably. Oh, they just have nothing. All right. So this was a sick game. We drew our sideboard cards for the matchup with Dismember and Borrower and beat a Leyline of the Void on turn 1, though their hand was kind of shit. They kept like a pretty weak hand that had Leyline, and we just had the answer for it. I'm not sure about these Thing in the Ices, to be honest. But I don't really want to board out, like, the problem is you can't really board out Thing in the Ice when my opponent's boarding in Leyline. Maybe we want to trim like a Regent. We can trim a Daze. And we can bring in like Force, Dress Down. Oh, I hate Dress Down. I don't hate Dress Down. I just don't want Dress Down here. Might bring in this Soul Guide Lantern, actually. Okay, let's try this. Just a little bit of trims here. And an extra Force in my deck. Yeah, let's try this. So that was an interesting, that was a really weird game. Okay, yeah. All right. Too much Moxen. Too much Volcano. No Leyline this game is pretty helpful, though. Lost my Narset. But I also didn't draw another land. It's possible that this lantern will just be cycled. I'm gonna definitely strip mine this Volk. I think we're really far behind in this game. All they need to have is some threats, and we're in some shit places, but maybe it'll be okay. I'm gonna just cycle this. We need cards. Interesting. Interesting cards, to say the least. Guess I can just gush again. I don't know. You're gonna gush? No, that's fine. I think I am gonna play this thing and just have it die to whatever they have. I think that's fine. I give this Eats a Pyroblast, and it's perfectly acceptable. Obviously it's a little annoying with Entrancing Melody, not exactly a combo, but I kind of just want to use it as bait. Yeah, second Tundra, huh? What is in their hand? All counter spells? Kind of interesting. That was not a good draw. More islands is not a good draw. No, I meant to waste the Volk. Whoops. Yeah. I meant to waste the Volk. I don't know why I wasted the Tundra. Like, normally you want to waste the Tundra in this matchup because swords, but they have a Pearl, so obviously I should be wasting the Volk. Just did the wrong thing. I think we just force pitch entrancing melody here. This does mean they can just bring it back on this next turn with a fetch land. It's so bad for me. Odd. What a nightmare. Yeah. I think I'm gonna consider and maybe hit a Thought Scour. How did we end up behind on lands? Oh, they were just on the play. I was hoping they would wait on this so that I could like buy back Thought Scour. But I really don't want another thing in the ice. But of course, Strip Mine is much worse. Yeah, I guess we're gonna just lose this game. I played badly, but I don't think it mattered. Our cards are just not good. They're just gonna Narset into a... Yeah, maybe I should have just held open force for that. I don't know. I guess I'm just fucked. They have to kind of choose whether to hold open for a Pyroblast draw or a Swords draw. Whatever. I don't know. I do think I played this game badly, but I don't know if it would have mattered. So I need to draw a cantrip here so I can like cantrip, but cantrip's bad against Narset, so yeah. I think I'm just dead. What am I supposed to do? Not resolving my own ancestral seems like a misplay. I probably should have left Consider and not Thought Scour. Well, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I played terribly and I got punished. This is such a bad card in this matchup, I swear. Like keeping a very wasteland. Did I keep a wasteland hand? Like drawing a bunch of wastelands and my opponent just being like ancestral cruise kill me is like not a very good strategy. But it just sometimes you can just wasteland them out of the game. I don't know. It's over. It's just no fucking point. I'm just getting out Xeroxed. It really feels like these Xerox matchups are just whoever draws ancestral first, right? Maybe I'm not allowed to wasteland there. I have to go for put Thought Scour back on top, but I don't know. Like my cards are just not playable. What I have? I drew the Soul Guide, but that was fine. It just cantripped. I could have held it for like Cruise, but... And then I got rid of Entrancing. I milled over Narset. Yeah, I'm not sure these Thing in the Ices are supposed to be in post board in this matchup, but also if they leyline me, I kind of need Thing in the Ice as a way to kill my opponent. Makes it pretty difficult. I think the answer is True Name Nemesis. Just try to resolve True Name Nemesis. But I just don't have room, right? I guess I could board out some things and then put... I just don't have room in my board to put True Name Nemesis. Also, Jeskai is not a large enough metagame percentage to care that much about how bad this matchup is. This is why another big reason I didn't want Force in my deck at all. And I boarded most of them out. Yeah, now I'm just 100% locked to lose. All right. Well, that's hilarious draw. All right. This matchup is really bad, and if you keep... Should I keep a subpar hand? I don't really feel like my hand was bad. Was my hand bad? Maybe I just need to be mulliganing more. I felt like I wanted more forces on the draw for like turn 1 Dreadhorde Arcanist. But how bad was this hand? Was it a really bad keep? No, this keep is fine. I mean, I didn't really want 2 forces, but... Oh, I kept 1 force. I guess I just like... I used my cantrips, and my cantrips got me nothing, whereas they cantripped into Ancestral. Yeah, I don't know. I don't feel like this hand is a mulligan, and then I don't really see where we like went horribly wrong. We drew like double Wasteland against their all land draw, and then they looped Ancestral with Mystic Sanctuary on us. Opponent's deck is definitely better at looping Ancestral because they have preordains instead of considers and thought scours, but even then, like, maybe I was never supposed to Wasteland. Maybe I'm supposed to keep in negation. Maybe I was not supposed to crack Lantern. I definitely could have avoided the second Ancestral if I didn't crack Lantern, but I just had nothing going for me, so I felt like I was supposed to crack Lantern. I don't know. Not sure. All right, unfortunately, we give Weenie a second to leave stream, and then we're 2-2, which is not good, especially with 57 players, so we're going to not be able to make top 8 very likely, but we got to play it out and just see how we can do and see what we can learn. So yeah, we got Weenie here, and we're on round 5. This hand's got nothing spectacular, but I think seeing my opponent's hand and having access to Wasteland and Time Walk is fine. Like if we probe them and they're on you know, a Bizarre deck, we have a great hand. If they're on Shops, we have a decent hand. If they're on like a combo blue deck, it's a pretty problematic, I would say. But we do have a couple draws, so our hand's gonna get full of new cards very fast. And I think like the Gataxian Probe should be pretty useful. See what they have. Okay. So yeah, they have an all Saga hand, which is really bad against my double Wasteland dress down hand. So I'm not unhappy with where we're at here, unless they draw Tinker. A question will be, do we let them Saga things, or, well, I guess they could just Needle Wasteland, which would be pretty good. I don't know if they will do that. They do know our deck list, obviously, because they were just in chat. But we do have Dress Down, so it's not the end of the world. See if he Needles Wasteland. Probably does Needle Wasteland, honestly. It's probably the best hit in our deck. Oh, I did give them the option of Needling Strand, but I think that's actually fine. This giving them the option of Needling Strand might make them Needle Wasteland, to be honest. So maybe it was bad. I should probably just have fetched. All right, they named Wasteland. Oh, the bait was real. I probably leveled myself a little bit too much there. That was probably a little greedy for no reason. All right, did you have another card besides? Okay. Wow, that's a really unfortunate misstep being 2 cards down instead of 1 card down. Because I think if we misstep Needle, we would be in great shape. Because we do have to beat 2 sagas. Wow, that's actually a pretty good draw. Did they draw a blue card for force? Is the next question. No. All right. I mean, this Murktide clocks in 4, and we have answers to the first 2 saga tokens. So it actually depends on how they use their mana. Yep, that makes sense. So they have force and an unknown. All right, they have, oh, they're on 8 cast. Okay, makes sense. They have force and then an unknown. Hopefully they don't see my dress down, 1 and 4. They saw mental misstep, which is also not great, but they actually have hard cast force up as well, which is interesting. On scour. Interesting draw. Okay, it's a pretty good draw. So let's see how this goes. I attack. They have 2 cards. They have a tutor on Saga. Yeah. See how many more tokens they make. I'm hoping for at least an 1 more token. If they don't make a token, I can probably just take a hit and then kill their next on their next turn. On a bit, take a hit, rolling out. That Wasteland Needle was really, really good, because if they didn't have a Needle on Wasteland, I would have just Wastelanded both their sagas and they would have had nothing. So pretty lucky, I think, that they have a Needle on Wasteland. Obviously a good play by them, but kind of shows you the vulnerability of playing a hand completely based around Saga. If you just get Wastelanded, it's pretty bad. Yeah. All right, so they are going to make another construct, which is fine. So I'm not winning the race if I dress down this turn, right? Because they would make another construct, and I would lose the race by 1 turn. So I have to hold this dress down for more constructs, which could be very detrimental to my living. They just got a Lotus so they can hard cast this force. That makes sense. They definitely don't have... I think I'm just going to take 9 and just go for the all for 1 and hope that I am able to counter their force. So now I could Sanctuary into another force, but the problem with that would be... No, I wouldn't be able to Sanctuary into another force. All right, so yeah, I mean, I have to... I'm gonna wait all the way until after they've drawn a card, because they will have to have drawn second force, or Fluster shouldn't do it. Yeah, I don't... They're just not gonna make one at all. I mean, you should still make one. You should still make one. There's no reason not to make one. This can get Soul Guide Lantern, I guess. Yeah, there was no reason for them not to make one. I guess I'm gonna lose to a Flusterstorm draw, but that's fine. Now you're gonna make one? Hmm. I mean, we knew about this. Yep. There was just no way for us to play around them. I mean, I could have played this before they drew a Flusterstorm, but I mean, I had to, or I wasn't gonna win the race, right? Like if I had done it on my turn, then if I had done it before they attacked. Yeah, I think I played this correctly. My opponent just top decked a Fluster, right? It's unfortunate I don't have a second dress down here. That would be pretty much a game ender. This pithing needle just killed me, huh? This really sucks. Oh, that really sucks. Just really, really rough. Yeah, you're right. So if they drew Fluster, I could have done it during their upkeep. But so then it would be, did they draw it this turn or last turn? And looks like they drew it last turn. So yeah, I should have definitely done it in the upkeep. I don't know why I was thinking I had to do it after they drew. Yeah, I should have done it in the upkeep. I do think they drew the Fluster last turn though, unfortunately. All right. Yeah, I should have just done it in the upkeep. I don't know why I didn't. All right, we're gonna 8 cast. We're gonna bring in Chalice, Null Rod, Energy Flux, and did I bring in anything else against them? I don't remember. Yeah, I should have just dressed down in the upkeep, but pretty bad. Pretty bad. Oh, shut up, Justin. Just trying to go back to my Thought Scour board game and see what my 8 cast game and see what I boarded versus Slasher. Yep, Flux, Chalice, thing, misdirection. Oh. All right. Feel like this is good enough to play. Maybe it's not. Feel like it is. Yeah, man, I can't believe I didn't upkeep on the second saga. I should have just upkeeped it. But the way they played with not making one end step kind of makes me just think they probably, and the way they didn't play the land last turn makes me definitely think they just had the Fluster from the previous draw. So it wouldn't have changed it, but it definitely, Give my opponent less opportunities, for sure. Kind of brutal. Excuse me. I wish I could play at the same level after I was knocked out when I'm not knocked out. But, oh well. Personal problems? No, we're dead. We're very dead. Too many people today. Well, those considers did not do very much besides fill my yard. But maybe we can just draw a Murktide here. It'd be pretty nice. I mean, it's just a clean 6/6 Murktide on turn 1. EV. This deck's so sick. Hopefully they don't have a force. I'd rather not force if I can help it. They do have a force. I have a force. I'm going to leave Misstep. I think Misstep is more likely than Dress Down to get me there. Their 6-card hand had double force. All right, that's a problem. Well, that is certainly an issue. Yep. Oh my god, please. I would love that. Just another land. That would be pretty fun. Double force on my Murktide just to get fluxed. Oh, Basic Island is so good for them. Good one. Yeah, that's fine. I don't hate that draw. I would like to have had a land draw the first, but... Still have sufficient time here. Just need to draw land. All right. What I get, I guess. Second seat into Thoughtcast. Into Urza? Oh my god. Why? I feel like we ran hot to draw the Murktide, but then super cold afterwards. They have a Flusterstorm off of Construct as their last card, it looks like. Oh, Mental Misstep. Sure, I will... So if I draw a fetch land, I can Murktide? Okay. Alright, well, I'm not going to put that in the yard. Well, I am going to put that in the yard because my opponent has an Urza. Jesus. Alright, there's the fetch land. So we did get the Murktide here. That's going to help a lot. Alright, well, let's see what happens, I guess. My opponent could spin if they wanted to. They could also just draw like Thoughtcast or Thought Monitor. It's really bad. But should be in a decent spot to get my Flux to resolve next turn, which should give me a little bit of leeway. What did they draw? Spinning? Looks like spinning. Alright, spinning is good for me. Yeah, that's fine. Alright, so this should resolve, and then we should be in a good spot. It's going to be annoying for them to flux every turn. I like that the fluxes we put in for Golos are good against 8 cast. That's a nice change of pace. So that was a pretty good change in my deck building, I think. It's a good sideboard change. Been pretty happy with the fluxes, and I haven't even played against any Golos. All right, so you have many triggers here. How are you going to pay for them? Should be interesting to find that out. I assume, yeah, they don't even want to bother. The game could have been over a lot earlier with a land drop. All right, I like that. I like how that went. That went well. Let's do it again. This deck is really cool. It's very hard to play though. I wonder if we should make the changes that we have cooked up where we add 2 flash creatures instead of Thing in the Ices. I don't know. Wow, I have... Okay, well, I really wish this hand had a force in it, but those are some of my best sideboard cards, I think, so I'm just gonna keep it. They mold to 6. I do think it's pretty hard. I think if you like make small mistakes, you're very likely to lose. Where in PO, if you make small mistakes, you just... It's rough life. All right, my opponent kept a 6-card hand. Let's see what they've got for us. Is it a seat? Is it an island? How many 0 drops? The world may never know. There's a 0 drop. There's a 0 drop. Ah, man. Being on the draw, too strong. And an island, brutal. Just an Urza. Good God. Or is it Tinker? That's a Thought Monitor. Yeah, it's a good one. Certainly a good one. Makes me a little bit likely to resolve this Chalice, but... They saw Wasteland and my top card, I assume. Alright, so they know about Wasteland and they know about my top card. They don't have any 0s in play, so a Chalice resolving will be very good, though they're going up to 5 cards, so they're kind of likely to have a force after that. But I don't know, they may only have like 4 forces in their deck, right? Oh, they drew another 0 drop? It's pretty good. Okay, sure. Alright, they know this card that I drew. Alright, Chalice on 0. I guess I should play fetch land so I can consider in response. They do force this. They did not force. Alright, so this is good. They don't have follow-up Moxen now. And I can unload a Null Rod next turn, and then we just have to beat a Windrake. Maybe. I guess we could just lose a Tinker right now. Drawing an island sucks. Sucks. Saga is so good, yeah. So if they don't have another land and I get resolve a Null Rod, that works out okay. So I have a Wasteland. They know I have a Wasteland, actually. They know I have a Wasteland, but they played Saga anyways. Maybe they just don't have any other lands to play. Just looking for a force, I think. Is it a mental misstep? Sure. So I think I'm supposed to just Wasteland, not risk it. I am getting beaten down by the Windrake. Second Saga, maybe? Yeah, second Saga. Alright, well, the Wasteland was correct. Not a terrible card to draw. How do you feel about Null Rod? They have a Force and Dispute. Feel like I'm supposed to gush here and just try to hit my Force. That seems really bad though. But if this gets forced, that means they get a Saga token. But then I have Gush and Dig. Maybe it's fine. I just have to draw like Dress Down, right? Yeah, I probably am supposed to let that resolve. I'm just gonna keep losing to Windrakes, aren't I? Windrakes are good against me. Okay. I don't think I want to Ancestral and like play around Fluster by playing an island because I want to be able to draw Wasteland, I think. Possibly. Alright, that should give us some time. I'm a little worried, but just need to draw into it. Just need to draw into a Dress Down to deal with the Saga tokens. They don't attack this turn, probably. So it's not too bad. We don't have a follow-up play, because even if we fetch, we're not close to Dig. Unless we do a bunch of countering. I assume they're going to make a construct. That just makes sense to me. Yeah, like a Dress Down is like probably our best draw. We got a Sapphire for a blue source, and then an Emery. That's a good play. Certainly a good play. Just gonna force pitching Trap. Yeah, I can't imagine they would attack here just to get into damage. Well, maybe I shouldn't have forced this Emery because they have 0 drops in their yard. It just seems like a good way to lose though. And I want to get more cards in my yard so I can dig. Could be wrong though. Maybe it was just bad. There's my Dress Down. Alright, so I can take a hit and then murder the board. And I think I'm ahead, though they can easily play another like Thought Monitor on this turn. It's pretty bad for me. Maybe I should have held that force. I should have held that force probably. I kind of forgot that I have a Chalice and this Emery is not actually good. The instance this Emery is good is if they kind of like put together Vault Key and I can't actually deal with the Emery in play. So it's just kind of like muscle memory to deal with it. And maybe that is true. Another Saga is kind of annoying because it makes me want to not play this Dress Down. Is that an Urza? Man, it's really bad for me. If I force this Urza, these things won't become 6/6 constructs. Yeah. I fucked up pretty bad here. I should have just let the Emery resolve, held the Force, and then countered the Urza. It was just big misplay. I can't even block the Monitor because I'll take 12 and die. I fucked this game up so badly. Oh well. Oh, I actually just die even with a dress down now. So I kind of have to hit like Black Lotus Time Walk or something to start here. God, the forcing the Emery, just the worst play I could have ever made. Just a horrible, horrible play. Yeah, I played this whole match like atrociously, so makes sense. Like we hit Sapphire, but it doesn't actually matter. Doesn't actually matter. Nope, we lost. I fucked this game up so badly. That's what I'm saying. Oh, I can't even use Sapphire because of Chalice. Never mind. Yeah, I played horrible. I played horrible. If I just let the Emery resolve and then it's just a 1-2 that doesn't do anything. Yeah, I don't know. Wasn't really. My mind was definitely not in it this game. I just like there's no reason for me to force the Emery besides them maybe assembling Vault Key, which is definitely a thing that could happen. But I just need to hold it. I don't know. I just played so badly. Like I have all the answers if I just sequence my cards in the right way. It's fine. I guess top decking Saga was like really rough, but even if it was just Thought Monitor, it would have been pretty bad for me. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I mean they could have cast Thought Monitor if they draw it too. So if I had gushed, I would have hit Force of Will, which is interesting. Still don't think it was right. Yeah, it's just no reason to force Emery. It was just a bad play. I don't know why I did that. I have no explanation. All right, here we are, round 6 chat. I played pretty badly last round, so we're going to try to pull it together this round. We have to test a new matchup this round. All right, my opponent should be playing mono white with Luris. So we can test a new matchup we haven't tested yet. We do want Dress Down Thing in the Ice, but having no access to islands and no counterspell for a Lavinia, or sorry, Lavinia, a Thalia was pretty bad for us. Though if they don't have a Thalia, we could just go like Lotus Merchant Ancestral, which is pretty good. Or if we hit a land drop, we could go Dress Down Thing in the Ice, go flip our Thing in the Ice. I think I just have to mulligan this though. It's too risky. This looks much better. Just gonna bottom this for Flusterstorm. So my opponent's playing like the Luris deck, which is Mother of Runes, Kataki, Leonian Arbiter, Leonian Relic Warder, Lumi, Spirit of the Labyrinth, Thalia, a bunch of Path to Exiles. They did have a Moxen, so there's going to be a Thalia or an Arbiter. Both are really bad for me. Okay, Spirit of the Labyrinth is fine because I have all instant speed cantrips. Obviously not Brainstorm, but that's okay. Want to hold this Force for Luris. But I can like Thought Scour and Consider on their turn, and this card doesn't do anything because this card's not very good. I'm holding open my fetch because I want to be able to fetch in case they play an Arbiter. We're just coming in here. I'm pretty good against Ghost Quarter as well, so sure. I just milled over my Ancestral Recall because I chose to use Thought Scour instead of Consider. That's always fun. If I had used Consider, I would have drawn Ancestral Recall. But I didn't really have anything I was specifically drawing towards, so I felt like it wasn't... I guess Ancestral Recall is basically Thought Scour or worse because they have Spirit of the Labyrinth in play, so maybe it doesn't actually matter. The good thing is this 0-4 wall does block one of these spirits, which should slow down the clock a bit. And I still have force for Dolores. So yeah, I think that's the only thing I would probably force. This is really a good outcome for me, as I can just counter their path, put a counter on thing for just life. Very likely, I'm very much like that. And they put the Luris in their hand. Makes sense. I will take 3 and consider Merchant Scroll. What does Merchant Scroll get me? I don't know, a cantrip probably, so seems good. Um, can I just get Treasure Cruise? No, because it's a Merchant Scroll. I can get Dig Through Time and then crack and cast Dig Through Time. It'll bounce the 2 spirits. Doesn't really do what I want it to do, does it? I could crack and gush. I could just blue and gush. Bounce the 2 spirits and draw 2. Probably fine. Or I could just get a Thought Scour and do it during combat. Doesn't really change it though. Gush isn't exactly better than Dig. But it doesn't use my yard in case I hit. If I can play like a Murktide Regent this turn. Yeah. Oh gosh. I can play a Murktide if I draw it, and I can hit for 7. Well, now I can actually brainstorm away and fetch. Yeah, that's really strong actually. So now I have brainstorm. Oh my god, that's so bad. I guess it's not so bad because I have. Oh boy. I have a dig. So I guess I put away like Wasteland Land and then crack my fetch. Or I could just strip mine this plains. Strip mining plains just looks too good. So I can still dig at some point if I want to. They can't play a single card in their hand unless they have another plains, which they don't. So kind of broken. So this is exactly this kind of matchup is exactly the reason why we're playing Thing in the Ice. Perfect display of why we have Thing in the Ice in our deck. I'm really happy that this game we get to do that. We're just gonna bring in Borrower and Dismember and get rid of Flusterstorm. All they're gonna have is 4 Path of Exile, which we should be able to force. Maybe we don't want Negation, and maybe we want Flusterstorm instead. Oh, we definitely want Entrancing Melody. Maybe we'll just leave one Daze, 1 Fluster. Misdirection's good for sure. Mindbreak Trap is fine on the draw, probably. Yeah, this looks okay. I'll probably bring in Chalice in the play if we get to go to that game. Yeah, this looks fine. Yeah, that game was brutal. The game was really sweet. Just got to use Thing in the Ice and it was insane. Obviously, Mental Misstep draw was like the nut high there. This hand's a little weird, but I think it's fine. Maybe this hand's not very good. Scotch looks a little awkward, but and we kind of need like a blue cantripping spell. Have a Moxen? Oh, Deafening Silence. Yeah, I don't really think I care about that card. I don't think that matters too much to me. Obviously, it looked like we went off last game, but do I have to dismember this thing? If I want to use dismember, I kind of have to dismember it, right? I guess I don't because I have dress downs. I'm not gonna. I don't really want to dismember a giver of runes. That seems really stupid to me. Just such a bad card, right? I don't really have more than one piece of targeted removal, anyways. Ghost Quarter. Put Luris in hand. Interesting. Well, I have a Force for Luris and a Daze for Luris, so not unhappy with where we're at. I am just gonna fetch a basic and play a dress down end of turn just so that I draw some cards and make sure I hit my land drops. It's also possible I'm supposed to wasteland this Ghost Quarter, depending on if I draw a land or not. That way I'm more likely to, maybe I'll draw a Thing in the Ice. That'd be pretty dope. Hello, Thing in the Ice. It's like, man, I've been doing some sick called shots today. Alright, I will play a Thing in the Ice with no counters. Here go. What's your move? What's your move, opponent? God, this is exactly why I'm playing this Thing in the Ice stuff. It's so good against creature decks. Sure, why not? One drop. Sure. If they have a path, it does kill my Thing in the Ice, but I think that's okay. I kind of need the land more than anything else. I can't cast another spell this turn, which is why I can't counter it. It did seem like that was the play that they were going for, but maybe I was supposed to play around it. I just think that hitting all these land drops is going to win me the game. So maybe that was bad. Maybe that was not a best play. I don't know. I feel like not casting any spell that turn is like really silly. And I want to threaten the ability to attack. I can. Is this a Luris? Jeez, I'm just gonna daze that. Wow, yeah, we're just like gonna be super far ahead in this game. They have a bunch of 1/2s that don't do anything, and we have a handful of like blue cards. Very nice. At any point, opponent, you are allowed to concede. Which is like kind of what you do when you resolve mono white, or when you play mono white, right? I don't know if this is the deck. I don't think I'm gonna probably play this versus an Eternal Weekend unless we find something like some really strong tech I'm missing. Probably end up playing PO and bouncing between Saga and no Saga, depending on how I think the metagame looks. Don't really have great Sanctuary targets, but I think I'm just supposed to cast Treasure Cruise this turn. Oh, that's not enough. It's probably fine. I don't really need to put this back on top. I do think that like holding open Dismember Consider is better than doing nothing. Any reason not to play Saga and PO? Yeah, for sure. I just don't need this Dismember. Saga and PO makes your deck weak to Wasteland and weaker to Null Rod and Vigor. I like Dress Down in PO. I think Dress Down and PO is really, really strong. People are getting blinded by like the big saga wins, but I think Dress Down is so good. I guess a question will be, should I be playing around another Path of Exile with this thing? Probably not. Don't really care if my things get pathed. I feel like there's a like huge upside in just I don't know, gushing or something this turn. Maybe I just go for like Dress Down thing this turn. Obviously this plays into Path, but I don't really think that's a huge deal. I'd like to be able to land this turn. That works too, I guess. Alright, well, time to find out if they have another path. Again, I really don't think this is a huge deal because I just get to get my islands out of my deck and cast all my spells. I'm not under any clock or any pressure or anything. Yeah, like that's fine. It's just a fucking grizzly bear. They're not even attacking anymore to keep everything protected, but I don't actually play spells that remove these, so no, I do not want to put a time walk into my yard. Thank you for asking. This deafening silence, I guess, is going to be a little bit annoying. Maybe I should have kept the brazen borrower to bounce it and counter it on its way back down. I don't think it matters, but I think I just want to do this and try to find my I mean, now I can like gush sanctuary back. Don't think this stops me, right? Sanctuary back cruise. Like if I get ghost quartered here, I don't get stopped, right? Oh, I only have one more island in my deck, so I'm gonna get rid of this sapphire because it's never gonna have the ability to cast it. All right, now we're beating down. I guess we do have to draw something to do something. Maybe I shouldn't have played into the second path so badly. I have so many spells, I just can't cast anything because of this deafening silence. Maybe I did fuck up this game and I'm gonna lose because of it. It's kind of funny. I'm just gonna time walk. Get a card out of my hand so that I can cruise next turn. Maybe I played this game really badly and just too greedy. It's kind of an interesting thought. They have mental misstep. That's a nightmare. Haha, it's so bad for me. Okay, yeah. I wanted to not cruise because I wanted to be able to play a Murktide Regent, but I think I'm going to die instead. Wow, I really punted this game away, huh? I should have kept the Brazen Borrower and bounced the Deafening Silence. I just didn't think it would matter. Wow. I guess I can just force this. That gives me another draw. Okay, here's a Murktide Regent. Yeah, I don't know about that, maybe. Again, this leaves me open to swords, I guess. Whereas I can have misdirection. All right, I'm gonna not get fucked by another Path to Exile. All right, now I am gonna get fucked by a Path to Exile because I'm gonna flash it a dress down and kill this relic warder. Yeah, I thought I was gonna cast Treasure Cruise afterwards, but I decided I wasn't gonna cast Treasure Cruise afterwards. Well, that's kind of annoying, isn't it? So I win this game off of an attack. By Cruise and draw no cards. Oh. Okay, sure. I played this game very badly. Very, very badly. Very, very badly. Oh wow. I can't stress enough. Just like the back half of this tournament has been so abysmal for me. But I can't lose now, I don't believe, because they don't have a flyer in their deck, and this is an 11/11 flyer. Yeah, my deck is so good that it lets me win even when I'm playing like Garbo. All right, that's it, chat. We have successfully made it to the end. We went 3-3. We'll probably end up with a top 32 pity chest, which will be nice. Yeah, so what do we think about our deck today? I mean, I thought the deck was good and I just played badly, and then obviously we got like a little bit unlucky versus Slasher where we just couldn't draw any action. Yeah, I'm signing off, Matt. Come on now. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I don't think the Jeskai matchup is playable. And I don't really see a way to make it playable, really. I don't know what to do about that. But I think the energy flux helped a lot. We won some games we wouldn't normally have won against 8cast, so I like that. There's definitely this option here where we cut two things from the main and play some instant speed creatures with Snapcaster and Borrower in the main. That also frees up a sideboard slot. You could maybe put a thing in the ice in there, or maybe you could put like another piece of graveyard hate, maybe you could put a true name or something. But yeah, I don't know how to advance this deck moving forward. I really think it's powerful, and I think a better pilot would have done really well today. So it's hard to see exactly how good this deck is. I'm gonna play it more, I think. in the coming weeks, but it's very likely that for Eternal Weekend we'll probably end up on PO. I'll probably play some PO before Eternal Weekend anyways. When is Eternal Weekend? It's Thanksgiving, right? So it's like in a month. Eternal Weekend's in a month. Yeah, I got to make sure I get some PO reps in with both Dress Down and versus Saga before then. But I don't know, if you have solutions and ways to improve this deck, feel free to comment on the YouTube channel when this video goes live. I appreciate everyone watching. Like I said, we actually had a pretty reasonable day for feeling fairly miserable physically. So I think like our first 2 rounds of Magic, we played extremely well. Was really on point for the first 2 rounds, and then the ending rounds, I think I just I lost focus pretty hard. So it happens. It's Magic. It's a human game for sure. Like I said, yeah, thanks for everybody for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.